pronounce Isa's name like that. Your host like that because it sounds so like fucking formal. Okay, wait, hello? Be like, welcome to the What We Don't Know podcast with your hosts, Ollie Evely and Lisa Sabah.
Was it recording?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, so... Oh.
No, dive straight in. Go for it.
Alright. No, I was gonna ask, like, how many tries do I get if he just gets one?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
We dive straight in with you.
Oh, okay.
Isa, you want to do the introductions? No.
Hello, Sarah.
Hello.
I thought you were going to say sad. Getting confused.
Sarah is my younger sister.
Correct.
She is...
You're doing good so far.
What's her full title? Breaker of cats.
What? Why don't we
Illustrator of dogs.
Are we allowed to talk about the cat situation?
Oh my god.
No.
Wait, come
Okay,
on.
Okay, that would be my one rule. Let's not talk about my adorable
Let's
little
explain
kitty.
then what the rule is. Before every episode, we do say to everybody, do you have anything we don't want to talk about? You didn't explain you didn't want to talk about... I won't say it. Your stolen cat.
You didn't disclaim.
I didn't know it was stolen until today, okay? Like...
How long have you had him for? Her?
Her.
Sorry.
Her, yeah.
Do you get offended by pets' sex being named wrong? Some people do. Some people are like,
I
oh,
really
your
don't.
dog's so cute. How old is she? Sorry, it's a him.
I do it on purpose.
You get pissed.
No, I
I'll say the wrong thing.
yeah, on purpose.
It's not bad with animals. With babies, it's bad. Animals.
Oh,
who
I
gives a
make...
shit?
No, see, that's the thing. Like, with animals, I like to say he or she, but I make a really awful thing with, like, babies or whatever. I call them it's.
That's... it's not ideal.
I don't know.
Just to
like,
be
they're not
careful.
humans yet. I'm sorry. They're just not.
Humans are humans. Babies are weird.
They are.
Of course, babies are weird.
But they look at you, they're like...
Yeah.
Have you...
But I love those, like, little fat rolls in their arms, you know? You just
not
wanna-
all of them have it.
I know.
Have you
I
had,
don't like those ones.
Have you
It's
had like a
scrawny.
baby that you spend a lot of time have spent a lot of time with, like seen grow up, like a friend's baby or anything? Or
No, not really. But like what I've seen a lot with now moving back here is friends of mine from high school seeing their little siblings, and suddenly now
See
we
them
had a
grow up.
reunion recently and went over to one of my friend's house, and I knew him as a 3-year-old. Suddenly he's fucking taller than both of us. And I'm just
Yeah.
like,
she gets weird with that as
It
well.
just
That's-
makes me want to puke.
That's really weird.
Yeah, because I'm like, how old am I? This one is like it's an adult now. See, again, sorry.
It's now big.
It's grown up.
It's weird when you see. I've only like the only time I've really had it that I can remember is recently with my nephew, and you see like the baby just being like, okay,
The
so
baby.
you can see it. Like
It's see,
no,
it's
I'm
not just
joking.
me.
I'm kidding.
then.
I'm kidding. He couldn't hold his neck up. Obviously, like babies can't hold their own neck up. So like I was looking back at pictures
why-
of like,
Sorry.
Why am I finding that so funny?
They
I know.
can't.
I'm just like
Like-
imagining like
One of
Did
those
you know that or not?
One of those dolls with a heavy head.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
No, they can't. Like
or
if
those
you leave his
bobbleheads.
head, if you leave a baby's head, they just flop back. But like I'm looking back at pictures of that, and now he's like trying to communicate with people, which is weird. Like he's trying to like he'll copy things like you say in a roundabout way. Like
Yeah.
she gets really weird.
Yeah.
Like you can see the development to him starting to try to understand things and figure things out.
Sorry, it's just like I just remembered a story my dad told me of when like I was a little baby, because I was very thin, but I had fat cheeks even until now. It just never goes away. But he was like, sometimes when he gets bored, he'd like basically like try to put my head straight, and it would like flop to one side because he's like, your cheeks were so fat that you just like flop your head.
Oh, when you were like a bigger
Yeah.
baby,
No, when I was like one or
baby,
something.
baby.
Yeah,
Oh,
baby,
one,
baby.
yes.
Yeah. And
No,
I was
but
like,
baby-
is
yeah.
that why my neck hurts? Because you used to
Is that
fuck
why I have
around with
neck
me.
problems, Dad?
It's making me flop around.
I'll be
You're
honest.
like making a dare to yourself. Oh, it's gonna go right this time.
I'll be honest. Like, we've had your dad come up in the podcast a few times, and we haven't created a very good picture of him. Your dad's a really good guy.
My dad's
And
awesome.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah.
So far, we've just been like dogging on your dad for some reason. Like every time he's come up, like the last time was Easter saying, I can't remember what it was specifically.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
Yeah, I don't
But he's
remember
come
my
up a few
dad.
times.
Has he?
Yeah.
I've
yeah.
listened to the podcast, but I don't remember that.
Oh, okay. I remember when. It was when you were
Perfect.
talking about your DNA test
Oh.
you.
Oh yeah. No, you made him sound very Arab there.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
exactly.
like
He does sound Arab.
yeah, but I mean, like you made him sound very ignorant. Ignorant? No, not maybe not ignorant, but like
I love it. You put yourself in a weird situation.
does he know about this podcast? Is the question.
He's going to when I send it to
No.
him now.
Oh god.
No, he knows about it. I've told
Here's
him
what your
about it.
here's what your children
Okay, see
actually
now I
think
have to
of
be
you.
really careful with what I say then. If
No,
he's
no.
listening.
No.
Nah, maybe
I
they
don't-
don't listen. They just listen to it once. I hope. I don't know.
I hope so too, because I don't want to let him down.
They don't listen. Don't let that stop you with going on
I
wrong.
know they never listen. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
They've learned
Your,
to tune me
um,
out. Yeah.
Your mum was like, your mum was always the harsher parent, right?
Just strict.
No,
Strict,
yeah.
I mean.
Like,
That's what I
maybe
mean,
also
strict.
harsh. Oh, okay, maybe not with the guys. The guys were like her babies.
No,
But
but I
with the
remember
girl,
she
she
was
was-
more strict with Issa as well, right?
Yeah, she was strict with all of us, but she was a lot more soft spoken with Isa and Saad. Like, because she even told us once, like with me and the girls, like how, because we always like told her, like, why do you always give us such a hard time? And with the guys, she's like very babyish, like, you know, baby them and everything. It's like, because it's a hard life for women out there. I'm
Wow.
like, that's exactly why
I
you
can
should be
picture your mum
nice.
saying it as well.
Yeah, and then I'm just like, but I
That is
don't.
so real. I've never heard of this.
Really?
Because she
Yeah.
said, you, as a woman, you're gonna have a hard time. So I'm like
Get
getting
used to it.
Yeah,
Tough love.
exactly. But I mean, if you know it's already gonna be hard, so why are you doing it to like at home as well? Like,
Yeah.
where's our
Yeah.
safe place?
Yeah, just making it worse.
Yeah.
That's
I
funny.
don't know.
Yeah, like it's funny because like the first time I met your parents, your dad would obviously seem like the more intimidating one, right? Like
You would think
first
him being the
appearance,
Arab,
you'd be like,
yeah.
you'd be like way more intimidated, and then you meet your mom, you're like, oh shit, like
Yeah, and the funniest thing is she's only like tiny little person.
yeah, but
Like,
she's
it's-
super intimidating.
Yeah,
actually.
no,
like when
my-
you actually
yeah.
sit down with them and she starts like
Dude,
quizzing you. You're like,
my
oh, shit.
friends used to be like, they wouldn't even speak to her. They'd just see her like pick me up from school, and they'd be so terrified.
Really?
Yeah, and then they
A lot
see
of
my
my friends
yeah.
are scared too.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Because she's not
Exactly.
intimidating at all, really, at like first
Yeah.
glance.
No,
And
even-
even when you meet her, she's not really. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think now she's a lot better that we're like kind of grown up, because she's a lot of fun to hang out with, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
So
She's funny.
She's
you-
really funny.
You, they're based in Philippines now, right?
Yeah, they're retired. Well,
Retired-ish.
their version of retired.
Enjoying their life.
Yeah.
You visited them there, right?
Yeah, just recently. I just got back
Really?
a few weeks back. Yeah.
It looks cool from the photos and stuff.
It was amazing.
Yeah. What's So I haven't been since they started work on the resort there.
Yeah.
What's amazing about the place? Because you've traveled enough to like be able to compare and talk about like what's special. But I'm curious, like what for you is nice about the place? 'Cause I'm sure you can imagine it when it's done and so on.
Yeah, and also like after uni, I did live there for like 3 months or something.
Really?
Yeah, because I moved after graduating. I moved back like around August, and I didn't move back here to Dubai until like March.
So go through like the steps. You were born in Dubai, right?
Born and raised, yeah. And then
Sharjah.
oh my god, you know what I mean?
No, but I mean,
Country.
Oh, no, but you were born in Sharjah? Raised, you grew
Yeah,
up there?
No, because we lived in Ajman at the time, and the closest hospital at the time. What are you doing,
Oh, okay.
Isa?
I'm laughing
was
because you're like,
Sharjah.
no, because you said.
I mean, like UAE.
Yeah.
is what
Yeah.
I mean.
Okay,
Like,
but-
born
I
and
wasn't- I
raised
wa-
in this country.
But-
Okay.
I wasn't trying to be like you were born in Sharjah. And
yeah,
then
you're
I
like you
wasn't.
cheap.
He
fuck.
definitely was.
No, I
He
really
definitely
wasn't.
That's exactly
I-
it.
I
He's
ended-
like, whatever. You think you're Chanel, but you're only H&M.
I only started laughing because I was like, it sounded like that.
It did
You were
a
like,
little
you were like, you know what I mean? I'm like, no, I meant, yeah, but like,
You're unintentionally patronizing.
yeah,
with
exactly,
everything.
unintentionally patronizing.
Okay, but how old did you live in Sharjah until you were what age?
I don't ever remember. All my photos of me was in Dubai.
No, we never lived in Sharjah.
Oh, okay.
We
It's
never
just
lived
a
in
lot of
Sharjah.
a
We
lot
lived-
of
Ajman, sorry, Ajman.
Ajmania for a while.
Yeah, they did. But
96.
yeah, but the,
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
see, I don't.
You moved to Dubai 96 until
96.
I have no
97,
idea. I
think.
was
I
2.
think, yeah.
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 It's
But,
funny. Oh yeah, 96 is actually like we were only 6 in 96.
When did you move here?
yeah.
Late 99, I think.
Okay.
How old are you? I can't do math
9.
right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think I can't, like, I can't remember, but I think we came once maybe for like a week and then went back and then came back again.
Just like for a holiday, or just for you guys
to like prepare, I think, a little bit.
get used
But
to it?
like the memories of first moving to Dubai for me, now looking back, was so strange. Like there were like, we've talked about it before, but there was really not much here. Like I remember we had the small like bungalow in Jumeirah, and it was just like sand around everywhere.
You say small bungalow, like it's a little like shack, and then if you actually see photos of his house, you'd be like, no, that was not small.
No, like
No, because my friend was telling me about this story, how she has like family from Africa who came to visit, and she was borrowing one of her friend's car because hers was at the shop, and it was like an average car and shit. So she warned them like, I'm sorry, it's a bit ratchet, my car. And they saw it and they started taking photos and making fun of her, saying like, oh, this is ratchet for Dubai.
Lamborghini.
What was it?
It kind of looked like a Yaris. I'm not really good with cars. It was like a
Yeah.
Nissan one. It was, yeah.
So it wasn't ratchet?
I
I mean, I think it.
No, yeah, it wasn't. But it's
Yeah.
funny, like it's true because
because you're
when-
saying small house, but I'm
but
sure
you must
it
have
wasn't.
experienced. No,
There-
it wasn't,
yeah,
it wasn't
the
small, but
Ju-
it was
Ju-
like the stages of what Dubai houses look like.
Yeah, of course.
Have changed so much. Like when we first moved here, like Barsha was the first place that started having these like huge
Yeah.
villas. You know, we used to go there like, whoa, this is crazy.
Yeah, I remember.
And before that, the Jumeirah houses were like one story. You could go on the roof, like hard roof that you can walk on and stuff.
Yeah.
And
They really were
couple of
like just
bedrooms.
villas. Yeah.
Really basic villas, and then nice. Like we had a nice big garden and stuff. Like you could go around the whole house and like
It's crazy how like 4 years difference is. It's quite big
Oh,
here.
huge.
Because like
Especially
for
back
me,
then.
I already like saw.
That's such an interest. That's a good time
Yeah.
frame for
yeah,
things to
yeah,
change.
Yeah.
for sure. 4 years was like
Yeah.
insane.
Still is.
insane.
Still is. Like
Especially
I don't think
here.
as much.
No, but here it's crazy.
I think now that 4 years, the difference
Yeah,
is
maybe
like expansion. How
I
far
would.
out? the
Yeah, I
city's
would
going.
agree with you because 4 years then versus 4 years now. What's
Yeah.
changed? The IMAX cinema.
Yeah, I mean, think about not 4 years, 8 years. Think about 2000 to 2008
That's completely
was
different.
just
Yeah.
insane.
No, I think what it is like kind of with humans where, because it was such a new country then, like 4 years then was a massive change.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's the same thing like with humans. Like, you know, you from when you were just born to 4 years old is a very big difference. And
True.
then once you're 20 to 25,
It slows
Yeah.
down.
it's not
And
as big of a.
Oh, that's very interesting.
But it was
That's
also-
a very good.
Yeah, analogy for it.
Yeah.
The other thing is
Thank
also
you. I've
that
always been
they.
good with metaphors.
So wait. So now this is it. This is it for me. It's just gonna slow down.
Whoa.
I'm just gonna get backaches and injuries, and I'm just.
Typical. That was a dark turn that we don't want to take.
Is this because
So
of your
this is
back
it, right?
pains
I'm done.
today? You're like
Yeah, yeah.
questioning your
He's-
mortality now because of like one injury.
He's feeling down on himself.
Because the thing it just also
One minor injury. He's
Exactly.
Like, I'm
He's
done
like-
now, right? That's it. I'm old. I'm game over.
it just slows down, and then
In all seriousness, yes.
it's really
Pretty
just
much.
that, huh?
It's yeah.
The like it's exactly
Holy-
what Sarah said. She's like, it's literally
That's
the
it.
progression is slower now. Like
So
the
I have-
difference of you till Easter 40, I don't think is going to be
Be
as
much.
much.
So I have to find the.
but that's also because he's so arrogant that he doesn't want to change. He's like, I'm amazing the way I am, and I'm
That's
gonna
not
be this
true.
way.
I think I'm one of the most malleable, versatile people
It's
I know.
interesting. It's
See, for you
interesting.
to define yourself as a person like that is
That's
kind of
funny.
proving my point.
I'm arrogant and don't want to change.
I see what you're saying, and it's really like on the surface, that's the appearance he gives off. But
Yeah.
he likes to give himself the feeling that he's really trying to pursue himself getting better. Like,
yeah,
if-
he's
Whoa,
like,
what
I'm,
does
I'm,
that
I'm turning
mean?
myself to a
it
better
is.
person.
Like he's like,
but I don't.
on a first like
But you're saying-
okay, I'll paint you a picture quickly. I'll give you an example. If you go to a party and you meet people, the first appearance of you would probably be what she described. She's like saying, like
I-
basically that
I-
you're like you don't really give a shit about changing. You're good the way you are.
I was at
But-
okay.
Really, you're like, if you get to know you, you're in your mind. It's like I want to improve myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like a robot.
I
I want to
feel
be
like-
like a robot. I'm
No, I
trying.
think what it is like you try to be so self-aware that you kind of go 360 with it. Because it's like this whole like
Sada's on point today. She's coming out with all of the analogies.
So self-aware, you're unaware.
exactly. No, because this is what it is, right? This whole like Jungian thing that he's like really into now, and like I ended up
Amazing.
getting, yeah, I
This
have
is
to
our
get
topic for the podcast, basically.
pretty much.
When psychology
Carl
goes wrong.
No, because every morning, like we listen to either audiobooks or whatever, and we've been listening to a lot of Jung, and
Shocking.
I know, right? But I don't mind it because I like learning new stuff and everything. But I remember hearing on one of the podcasts how he was on about like people with rubbernecking and how like he used to get so annoyed and he realized like, oh, this is the reason why and all this. But it happened just the other day.
Amazing.
Okay.
Like, on that journey that you're talking about on the way to work.
Yeah. And then it just happened just last week where like leaving our house, it's usually not traffic in like the first 5 minutes, but suddenly this day was like it was so bad. And then again, there was
He's
an
just
accident and there was
plowing through traffic.
No, and then he was like, oh yeah, of course there was an accident. Of course it's like rubbernecking and all this shit. And I'm like, oh, I thought you were over this. He's like, yeah, no, I'm not angry, but like,
Yeah. He
bitch,
catches
you
himself.
were.
No,
You were
but-
annoyed.
No.
You're like, no. Like, I should know not to be annoyed, but he still was annoyed,
But you don't remember because what actually happened was. No, but you don't remember because
Because he was like, oh, no, but I did it too. That does
Yeah.
not make it, but that does not like negate the fact that you were still annoyed about it just
But-
because you
but-
also did it.
no, but
you
I-
end up becoming a shittier person because you started rubbernecking too.
yeah,
And you were annoyed.
But that's the difference.
So
yeah.
you added more to it than being a better person and just like being
No.
like,
No. So that's the thing.
I'm just sitting back on this. I'm like, let me just see how this pans out.
but like what?
This is
oh,
good.
it's gonna kill me later.
What was important to me was that whenever that happened in the past, it was very infuriating. It was like an annoyance 10 out of 10. If there was
Like
a
you'd almost
scale.
crash your car to be.
Oh my god! Like I
to-
wanted to.
Oh,
kill,
that's true.
I
Actually,
wanted
you
to
didn't.
kill them.
Yeah, no.
I was
Before he used to
angry.
like drive angrily. Like
It
after
starts
that would all
learning stuff.
happen. Like yeah, but like okay, this time fair enough.
It was
like
just
you were,
like-
you were annoyed a lot.
Less.
Yeah, not even a lot less, but like you were like okay, I'm annoyed. Okay, I'm done.
But
It's
it
like,
wasn't as you
yeah.
described on the podcast of like, now I'm very zen in the situation of rubberneckers.
No, but fair
I have
enough.
zero.
No, fair enough. Once you realize things, I mean, it will still annoy you. You're still human, of course. Like
Yeah.
it's not just
At
gonna
least
go
you realize.
away. Yeah.
Yeah.
So fair enough in that point. But you were annoyed. You were just like
Yeah,
you were telling
I'm
me though,
not-
like no, I'm not. But like,
no, I'm not gonna deny
And
I
to
wasn't
be- to
annoyed.
but
be
you
fair
did
to
deny
him-
it. That's the issue. You did.
No, but I guess what I said
That's
is
funny. Yeah.
okay. Fair. I don't remember.
to be-
I
to-
trust everyone's
To
memory
be fair
over
to
mine.
Issa, I've been called out as well for trying to be too righteous and too like my answers too boxy. Like,
Your
you know?
answers are so boxy sometimes.
you
Not
try to
really.
be so PC. Like, what's up with that? Because when we're
I'm
at
careful.
home, not
I'm-
being like when we're not being recorded like this now, you're so not a
I'll
PC person.
get into it. I want to tread
But, like, on this
water
pod-
carefully at
Yeah,
the
but on this
start.
podcast, listening to it, I'm just like,
Who
this
the
is not
fuck is
Ollie.
that?
Like,
Who's that
you're-
guy?
Yeah, you're
We'll
playing
get
it-
into it.
yeah.
We don't have enough listeners yet to cause waves. So,
Yeah.
but you know-
I'm slowly building listeners up, and then I'm just gonna crash the party.
I would actually disagree with you, Sarah, because like I know him a bit better, and like I get it when it's very
He's still on it. He's still on
focused
it.
on himself.
huh?
And you're still
Exactly.
focused on your own plan. He wasn't.
Yeah. He didn't listen to
He
anything we
breezed
said.
over.
Yeah.
Go on.
Wait,
carry on.
what just happened? Wait, I
Now
don't
they know.
understand.
Exactly.
No,
Just
tell me.
focus on you, babe. Go
You'll
on.
hear, you'll hear later on.
Tell me what you guys said.
No, nothing.
No,
It's
no,
all
you
right.
have
Talk
to.
about you, babe.
I'll explain. We were talking about you, and then we went off the topic of you, and you were still on you.
I was gonna talk about you though.
Oh shit! Okay. No, we're kidding anyway.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
go
no,
on.
I'm sad.
No, we're joking.
I completely.
mate.
I was
it's
gonna
a joke.
tell
It was a
you.
joke.
I completely don't
Go
understand
on,
what
go on.
happened.
It's fine.
I was gonna say though, from what I know of you. So how's that about?
No,
me?
it's not.
No,
We thought
We're
we
joking.
thought you were gonna talk about
Yeah.
yourself.
Oh.
Like
About the other
usually, yeah.
No, okay, go on.
No
Go
joke.
on.
No, but literally. Like, no, I was gonna say I disagree with you, Sarah, because like what I know about him is like he might be in casual, unrecorded talk. He might say something insensitive, but the values I think he holds are not trying to be PC so he doesn't offend anyone. I think he legit would like to understand how the dynamics work for other people, but
I appreciate that.
he doesn't know much where to begin from.
Yeah,
it.
no, I'm
He's
not.
coming from a place of ignorance. Like some people are coming to a place of ignorance out of fear, out of like.
Oh wait,
but
never
he-
mind. I take it back. I don't appreciate that.
But he's
this
just-
is actually
No,
a stab.
no.
kind of is. He kind
Thanks,
of
I
is.
appreciate it.
He's
You're like,
kind-
actually, he's an idiot and he doesn't really understand a lot.
No,
Kinda.
that's not what I. That's not
Kinda.
what I was
That's
trying.
what
What kind of thing? Give me an example.
Oh,
We're going out
like-
the box
Oh,
now.
let's
We're
do
gonna
it.
get going.
Like trans issues.
That's exactly the conversation I was thinking in my head as to why I'm saying like, but I don't mean it in a
We
way
talked about that
like you're
for
trying to
what,
be
4 hours?
offensive. Yeah, no, we went on like
That was
till
a long
sunrise.
topic.
Very long.
That
yeah.
went up.
It
to
never
sunrise.
ended as well. It's
Yeah,
like the
no.
podcast. We just talked and
I don't
talked.
think it
There
did.
was no resolution.
I don't think.
I
It did.
wasn't. I'm not like.
I mean, like for example, like you.
That was a long conversation thing.
I mean,
yeah,
I-
but no,
I
but
don't know if we open up Pandora's box again.
no, that's not it. It's like what I'm trying to say is
Oh no, we kind of did get to a resolution on that, kind of.
yeah,
We were like,
but what I was trying to say about you about like, being on the podcast and everything is that you're very careful with like what you're saying and what you ask. Like you don't really ask questions to kind of go into it. You try to like avoid it.
a little bit. I know. What you mean.
Yeah. Well, as like when we're like, it's not in a bad way. You're not being ignorant at all. Actually, you're trying to like open your mind more. That's why you're asking all those questions, which is I think a good thing. And people, I think the whole issue with the whole PC thing today is
Not
people
asking.
are scared. No, people are too scared to even ask
Yeah,
the
yeah,
questions because
yeah.
they don't want to be deemed as like not being PC. But then
Yeah.
how are you supposed to learn about anything if
I
you don't
agree.
ask those questions?
And I
Yeah.
feel people are also scared of having a stance.
Exactly.
You or like, you know, and they
No.
feel if you have a stance that you have to stick to it.
I agree with what you're saying because it's almost like not even that you have to have a stance on something, but it's like I think it's better to be able to really talk about stuff without an agenda and try to get not even try to get to a resolution, like try to
Not just
understand.
to understand. Yeah,
things.
it's like
But then
how
you're right. Not enough
yeah.
people, I think, do that. People start off a conversation with an agenda, which fucks up a lot. of
Exactly, that's the issue.
100%.
Yeah, because when people start asking someone a question, it's more of like they're trying to get the answer that they want
Yeah.
out of them
Yeah.
with
So
their
we-
question.
Confirmation
We were
bias.
talking
Yeah.
about this the other day. So I watched a few of these videos, and I'm like, I'm on no team with this at all. Like I'm like you said, like I
You just want to understand.
off the podcast.
Yeah.
I'll talk about no. But I just
Boom.
want to ask questions that are like relevant that you get an answer from, like or like try to understand about. But I watched some of these Ben Shapiro videos. Have you seen the guy's videos?
Oh, the Canadian one,
Is he Canadian?
I don't know where he's from. I think he's
He's-
the
I
teacher, the
No,
teacher.
no.
Which one?
He's
Which
like
one
He
is
a
it?
goes to
neo-
universities and he's like completely one side of it. Like he's anti-transgender basically, right?
What do you
It's
call
kind of-
what do you call
No,
his group?
he's the one who used to be a teacher and then got in trouble because he denied.
No, that's another. That's
Oh,
another.
okay.
Same
It's not
group.
him?
Same group though.
Oh, okay, all right.
No, he's the young-looking, like baby-faced, really good at arguments, so to say.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
a right.
Yeah. I think I know who you're on about.
And
Yeah,
he's-
I've
it's
listened to his
people-
stuff a few times. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like, I don't know how, like, you know, you go on these YouTube connected videos
Mm-hmm.
and I just ended up watching a bunch of them.
YouTube
And I was
black
like,
hole.
Yeah.
the guy's kind of a douche. Like, he can have his views, whatever, but he
Yeah.
just is for the sake of him just being an asshole. Like, he's obviously making money on his appearance. And I said to Issa, like, I don't like the way he goes about stuff. And so I'm not on board with that at all. Like, I'd rather, like, if you're interested to talk about things, like, have a conversation, that's one thing.
Yeah.
If you're like start off this conversation, like he goes to universities and where like there's these universities go to, there's a lot of people that are like quote triggered
Yeah.
by
I
all
see.
this, you know.
I was
And
making. Yeah.
they go at him like, and he automatically has, I think it's almost like preset like replies, right?
He does. It's not only.
But he's
preset,
good at it.
He uses debating methods. He
Yeah.
uses
But he
like
For
debates
sure.
in a very demeaning.
yeah, because
way.
that's what he does. He makes sure you can shut because it's like disarming to suddenly be shut down
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
one small mistake. He'll capitalize on it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He'll like kick
Oh,
you.
so he's like a professional troll.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
But
That's
Yeah.
a really good.
I mean, I was gonna say more douchey, but no, trolls are douchey. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
professional.
You know, like
troll.
how-
You need to be like our analogist. or whatever.
Your
Metaphor-
analyst.
Yes, right.
Professional metaphorical wizard.
I've always that was my favorite thing about English classes before.
Analogies and metaphors.
Oh
and-
God, yeah, I was so good at English lit because of that.
Okay, going back to the trans. Now we're going into it. I'm going to start opening
Let's
up Pandora's
trigger
box
some people.
in general. You said I'm not being honest. I'm going to be honest. No, there's the only thing about it is this is like to sum up my
About what?
view about like transgender, the new transgender, like I don't know what you call it. It's
stuff.
obviously a boom, like a
Even
lot
that,
of conversation.
That's,
around
that's
it,
the
whatever.
thing. Even when I called it a transgender issue, it made me think of like the Jewish question or something. Like, is
What?
it the terminology, the transgender issue? Is that like the politically correct term?
But like,
Is it really an
okay,
issue?
Regardless of like the specific terms, it's obviously like a lot of conversation around it.
Yeah.
Now, some people are like completely 100%, no matter what the argument is, in the deep end
This is
pro.
Yeah.
which is fine. But I think there's a few things which are like overlooked. Maybe like there's a few details of it which I'm like, maybe we need to actually like if we're gonna be going in that direction, which is fine, and being more progressive and everything, it's completely okay.
That's
But
why it's- yeah.
there's a few details which we need to actually look into, which is why conversation's good. Like
Exactly.
just everything, like bathrooms and everything else. It's like it's not like 100% all in.
Yeah, but
There's
that's
some things which are,
but
like,
that's the thing that's
difficult.
difficult. For example, like it's nice for you to say we can have a discussion about transgender rights when it comes to bathroom segregation and so on. But
yeah.
in America, they use that.
Like you shouldn't have a right to talk about it almost.
No. They use the illusion of a discussion, but it's actually
You want to go to the bathroom?
Yes,
I
go,
need
go,
a
go.
tea break. Okay.
No, it's fine. Go on, carry on.
yeah. They use the illusion of
I don't want to hold anyone back. We got a free platform here.
well,
Sorry.
maybe pause.
Sorry, illusion. No, it's fine.
But then
Illusion-
she's not hearing.
It's fine. We'll fill her in.
All right.
Illusion of what?
No, in the discussion of the whole thing of the bathroom, there's an illusion of like discussion for the sake of actually solving something. But the reality is when they have that kind of discussion between legislators for or against, they are doing it with an agenda. So one side will say, oh, this is human rights. And the
Yeah.
other side will say, oh, but we're protecting our kids from perverts.
That's the thing. Like, it's difficult, especially with laws. Like, the law thing is the difficult thing
Yeah.
all the time. Like, it's more, like, I say it over and over again. I think the, like, weight of people's opinions or people's, like, everybody community push is more relevant or whatever. But, yeah, laws make things difficult, for sure. But they are things that need to be, like, addressed. Like, how else would you solve issues like that? Like, how else would you say, like the bathroom thing that we're on, if you don't talk about it, how are you ever going to come up to like a logical, because the things like the thing that I think people struggle with is we're past the point, like now there's like a big discussion about it. The Caitlyn Jenner thing was like got people talking about it a lot and stuff like that.
But I see with that whole issue with Caitlyn Jenner, I found it didn't like, okay, the conversation got a lot more and everything because it's someone famous, but I feel like she kind of degraded the whole thing, like how she won the women's award.
That I didn't like,
you know,
to be
because
honest. These are the kind of things, like those kind of small
that's what
things.
frustrates me. It's not because
Yeah.
like I have no respect for like, you know, changing whatever. That's her choice and everything. But there's a lot more amazing like transgender women who could have won that. But just because
thing
she's
is-
someone famous,
and
she suddenly got that award.
But maybe the fault or the outrage should be directed not yours specifically.
Yeah.
But I think it might have been better directed at
that commission or whatever.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah,
I
No,
mean,
that's
it's
for
it's
sure.
weird.
I'm not
It's-
angry at her. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not towards her. It's more of, like, people just use her. I don't know, like they turn it around so much that you kind of you lose respect for the
Yeah.
whole thing because
Yeah.
of that.
The
Yeah,
energy,
like
the
there's
energy.
obviously better women that have done more powerful things that should have been more like they should have won the award.
This
more,
is,
I think.
Yeah,
you know,
But I
or
mean-
more deserving.
I mean,
for sure.
it must be difficult what like she
Of course,
he
being in
did.
the public eye, it's
really
crazy.
difficult.
Yeah.
You
But
know,
there's something like one other point I have in it. Are you okay to talk about this or like you?
Yeah,
you
go
okay?
for it. Go
Okay.
for it.
One point I feel pretty strongly about this is, and again, like people might say I'm a douchebag, I don't understand or whatever, but I think we underestimate, and like we talked about this quite a lot before. The last episode was pretty heavy in this kind of direction of conversation, but I'm very like I believe that we're like made up a lot of. I mean, life itself is what we are made up of, and like it's a very physical thing. But I think we underestimate how different we feel as men and women. Like just because a man feels like a woman and says like this is something we've talked about I think before as well. But I think we underestimate like men underestimate how difficult and how different it is to be a woman and vice versa.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like,
And how would we really understand? Like we
Yeah.
can't. Like there's so many things. That
Exactly.
but you
are
have,
different.
you do have true hermaphrodites, as rare as they
Yeah,
are.
Yeah.
They're rare, but they do exist.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Which
No, I
almost,
understand.
and I don't think they're. I wouldn't. Obviously, probability-wise, they're just a rare occurrence.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's fair to say that they're the one-offs or they're mistakes, and just because of numbers, probabilities, like they shouldn't exist. For
No,
example,
like,
they obviously
but
do.
it would be interesting to know. And again, it's like it's one of those things that is really, really difficult because, in general, there's like you can see it's pretty obvious like a lot of differences between men and women, like
Physiologically, like physically. Yeah.
but it translates as well, like in a lot of different ways, I think. And again,
What do you mean
treading
translate?
water carefully, but no, like I mean, you can see differences because of how men are made up or whatever compared to women.
Mm-hmm.
It affects things obviously, like
Yeah, I mean,
like testosterone
this
itself,
is-
like we're like sexually driven in a lot of ways.
Yeah, there's that's why like a lot of Carl Jung's own ideas are currently in the popular community considered backwards, because he has a lot of general ideas of like women when they're in their like early teens to their early young adulthood are gonna start focusing on finding the ideal mate, and then the guys are just gonna try to hunt and figure out how manly they are, which is super limited.
But
you know?
we forget that how primitive we actually still are. We're not even past, like we had hundreds of thousands of years
But the
of
thing,
being super
but
primitive.
that's go on.
And you can't snap out of it. Sorry, go on.
yeah. No, I was just gonna say, but the one thing you also do forget is, I mean, everywhere in the world is different, but guys are treated a certain way growing up, and girls are treated a certain way growing up. So as you're forming, like being who you are and everything, the way you are treated has a lot of effect in it.
For
That's
sure.
why it's
Yeah.
hard also to understand the opposite sex, because you were treated very
no,
differently.
100%.
You know?
It's like
100%,
reinforced.
Exactly.
No, definitely.
So
I definitely agree with that. But I think also, if without like it's not even an issue.
That's why it's called body
Without-
dysmorphia, right? They feel in their
no,
own
but I
skin.
completely believe that 100%.
Okay.
And it's obvious. Like on the surface, you hear a lot now of like, you know, guys at a young age will be given like a baseball or whatever, like, and you guided in a certain direction.
Yeah.
And that makes a lot of sense. But I think without like talking about different, like, okay, I'll put it like this: without talking about actual differences between men and women, it's, I don't know how you put it, like, without really addressing the differences, obviously now you'd want as much as possible equal rights for men and women, right? without actually confronting issues. And like you see again, one extreme of it is like there is like they'll say there's no difference at all. They should have exactly equal rights between
No,
men
but
and
that's the
women.
thing I think
But-
people seem to forget when it comes to like equal rights. Like feminism today to
Equal-
what original feminism was is so different. I hate when like this like new age of
Yeah,
feminism.
it's
I
different.
do
Yeah.
not like it because they're making very double standards. You know, they're going again all like 360. You know, they're
think-
making men feel like
Yeah.
they don't have any
I was
rights.
gonna
And that's
say
not it.
rejecting the
That's one
patriarchy
thing
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
is one thing.
Yeah.
Feminism is another
Yeah,
thing.
I
And
think it's
I
more
think-
being equals. Like
Yeah.
feminism
Yeah.
before wasn't about
Yeah,
all
like
only about women. It's more about being
inclusive,
equal.
inclusive.
Yeah, everyone is
So
equal.
not only maternity rights, paternity rights.
Yeah,
you
for
know?
sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I feel like the whole like thing you said about with like young and everything, how today with men growing up, they don't have that bond with their father because he's always like at work and everything. I mean, now it's a bit more different because women also do work and a lot more
You
than
might
how
have
yeah,
a chance to spend more time
exactly.
with your father
Yeah.
instead. Yeah, but it's not just spending time with a male figure that matters. I think to men. And as I'm sure you've heard in those morning drives, it's more the actual education of manhood, if that makes any sense. Yeah. But
But I think like the other thing is,
like
of course, the majority of people would you would assume the majority of people would be like overwhelmingly for equal rights for men and women. Like the main points are there's no question for me. Like equal pay.
you'd
the
think
real
that, but there's a lot of
you
like
would hope. Like,
you've heard of the incel community? Either of you?
No. Go
Incel.
on.
It's they're huge actually, the internet at least. It's short for involuntary celibate, which is basically these group of guys who have decided for themselves that they're never going to get laid. That society has put them in a situation that would.
Is that what they're called? I
Incel,
remember
yeah.
hearing
This.
about it.
So they're like they just use the internet, they troll, they
Yeah.
group together and
Oh,
they
I see what
moan
you mean.
about how they're nice to women, but then women don't give them a chance.
Yeah.
And
Like, oh, the nice guy always has it worse and all
the
this
nice guy
kind of
has it.
thing.
Yeah, nice guy finishes last. And
Yeah.
everything. But like now it's like a subculture, and they
I
call
think that
themselves
whole thing
incels.
is fucking.
Really?
It's all bullshit because it's, you know how I hate when guys say that, oh, nice guys finish last and everything, but in reality, are they really a nice guy?
No,
like
they're not.
they're
Yeah.
really not.
They're not.
They use this whole persona of, oh, I'm so nice and everything, but what are you doing? You're getting angry because you expect the woman to treat you a certain way because you're acting nice,
Yeah.
and you get angry at the fact that she
Yeah.
doesn't
Respond to
yeah.
that the way you want. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's
Yeah.
not you being nice. That's you like assuming this is what you should be like.
Yeah. There's
it's not being genuine as well. It's like putting on a front to try
Yeah.
to get something, and then
you know their
Exactly.
community is they need help. They need a lot of help. Really.
what's it called?
incel?
Incel. How do you spell
Yeah,
it?
INCEL.
Really? I've never
Involuntary
even heard of
celibate, and yet, and they take it next level. Some of them are like black pill, red pill, blue pill. I don't know what. There's like this all of these terms that they create to like they group together and they talk about how like a girl in my college class looked at me and she gave me ideas of like we could talk, and when I talked to her she turned me down, and this is just proof. And then they give each other advice on like how to dress, or like you should like do tongue exercises so your chin or your cheeks look a bit more masculine, or they're like next level missing
That's
the
crazy.
point.
Yeah.
I don't understand how like they're
You'll get
saying
that, though.
they're wait, so they don't want to be celibate.
They don't. That's why. So that's why. That's why it's called involuntary celibate. They feel like the dice or the world has been made
Oh, it's all
to
against
fight against them. Yeah, against them getting laid.
Oh my god.
But that's why I think Jordan
Yeah.
Peterson is kind of really gaining traction, because for them finally they're hearing someone who's giving them a good guide on how to grow up. He's basically saying, what kind of woman would go for someone who doesn't even clean the room? You know, like clean your room.
Yeah. Yeah.
small like basic things. So
Yeah.
for them, they're like, oh yeah, okay, I can see how that can help.
So, for me, like it's good to talk about these things. I think, of course, like it's
Yeah.
good to be able to talk about it. The more you talk about these things, regardless,
I think
regardless is that
Yeah.
there's a progression of how things go. We might want to speed it up, but eventually we have to get, because it's not just gender
Yeah.
equality.
yeah.
It's also about like race equality and things like that. It's
Yeah.
all the same kind of direction of people. Like,
Yeah, humanism, like
But-
really.
For sure. And that's what, like,
But
again, with the whole new feminism thing, right? There are these men who actually are on the side of actual feminism, actual feminist rights. And then they go into these protests and, like, fight for women's rights. And women attack them. They're like, oh, why are you here and shit. But, like, they're, you know,
trying
and
to-
they're going so backwards. It's
Yeah,
like, what?
exactly.
You're-
I can see both sides. Like the women could be like, how can you understand our points?
But
in
they're
this?
never saying that they
But
understand. They're
they're
there to
saying
be
No, I understand.
supportive,
Yeah, yeah,
and they're
yeah.
attacking them because
Yeah.
they're trying to be
So
supportive just
this-
because they're male.
Yeah, and I
Like-
see. This is my point before. When you have that extreme push, it holds things back as
Exactly.
well. Like you missed. It's like Issa said, you miss the point, and it like not regresses, but it slows down progression.
For sure.
And
It's kind of like what I was saying about Issa, where he's like, he's so self-aware that he isn't aware.
he'll hate this one.
But it's kind of like that with people who are like, who want to be so open-minded to become closed-minded.
Yeah.
So this is
Yeah.
This
And
is a
then,
bit.
yeah,
Of, this is a bit of a
Yeah.
different.
Because then
not-
they forget to try and understand another person's point of view.
Yeah.
So this is a little bit different, like direction. Same thing, but different direction. What do you both think then? Because for me, I'd like to assume that the progression of these things working themselves out will have a way of like things sorting themselves out. And these things in 20 years, 10 years or whatever won't be, it will be resolved
Globally or
globally at
Oh.
some point. Or not?
Not anytime soon.
You don't think?
No. I mean, come on, like,
With issues across, like
like
these kind of
job
issues.
job pay, for example, for men and women is still not equal globally.
okay,
That's
would
you-
insane.
Would you? That's
Yeah.
really, yeah, it's crazy.
It's insane.
It's really
I
crazy.
mean,
but
and
it's
you,
getting
and you
better.
have you have
were saying?
places.
of course, everything, like, slightly improves, but
It's so slightly though.
so slightly. And also then there comes these movements, and then it ends up regressing, like
But
you say.
we
and-
had this big thing. I think I mentioned it in another podcast, another episode, where it's like 75% of fine arts majors are women, but in New York, like 8 out of 10 artists represented are men,
yeah.
which is it's like literally the opposite end. It makes no sense.
You would assume it'd be further along that. But having said that, like I think not that we take it for granted, but maybe we overlook how far society has progressed
Oh,
until
this
this
is-
point.
for
Because
sure.
you go back to
Yeah.
like the black and white movie days, whatever era that was, and you're like, what the hell?
But
Like,
are we? We're not supposed to lay content, and I mean, it's
No,
good.
no,
It's good.
definitely
It's
not.
good. It's
Definitely.
good.
I'm
It's
not
good
saying
once
that.
in a while,
But it's
definitely
like-
to see how far we've come along.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm
100%,
not saying
but-
that. Like we shouldn't be like, oh, this is good enough.
Yeah.
But it's like we're at least like on a positive side, like maybe like slowly but surely things are
You
getting
know,
better, and it will resolve
The other end,
with a push eventually.
the other end of it is, I think, like, is always like, this is only something I've been recently thinking about the past, I don't know, few months since I really got into the young thing. Is actually
And back to young.
yeah, back to young.
I mean, I was the one who brought it
I'm
up.
glad you
but
said
yeah.
it. No,
But no, but how much of our day to day actually reflects our ideals, if that makes any sense? Because you can have someone who is a vegan, for example, or who's a self-proclaimed feminist, and she would be, or he even would be, the type of person who will latch on to something wrong you said. They would attack you for something wrong you said.
like, do you
like
have
you-
any,
Like
I-
like for example, like there was like there's this guy. I don't know. I'm
to
prob-
do with the topic specifically that they are like feminist and
for
equal
yeah,
rights.
for
that
example,
specific.
yeah, for example, like
But you sometimes do this as well. Not with that specifically, but like sometimes you'll, when we're talking about, like I'll a lot of the time play devil's advocate for things, and you'll latch onto something I've said that, or take it in the wrong way or something.
yeah, but no. My point is, but for example, yeah, let's say I do that, but I still do it out of curiosity. I want to understand what
Okay.
you're saying.
Mm.
For them, they will attack and they'll say, "How dare you?"
Okay.
They'll be outraged and so on. But then that's where it lies. They just it's a matter of being happy and righteous that they're on the right side
Okay.
Yeah.
and that everyone else is wrong. My point with all of this is how much of that how much does doing that actually further the debate?
It doesn't.
It doesn't, right?
It
And
really doesn't. And that's what annoys me. It's like how, that's why I'm saying I don't like the whole PC thing. It's the fact that instead of people trying to understand, they just want to be triggered.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so sometimes when I speak to people and stuff, I on purpose will say something that will make them say like, "Oh, I'm triggered" and stuff. Just to be like, but why are you truly?
Okay.
Like, what gives you the right to be?
Okay, I'm gonna go all the way back to the start of the podcast, back to the start of the episode, and come back again.
All right, go for
So
it.
at the very start, we talked about you having grown up in Dubai and then leaving, but like go over quickly. Like where did you go for those specific? Like you went to the UK and US, right?
No, I never
Just
went to the
UK.
US. No, so basically born and raised in the UAE. And then I moved when I was 15 to the Philippines for my last year of
Oh, yeah,
high
okay.
school. And I graduated at 16. Came back here for a year because my parents were like, "You're too young to go to uni." Moved to the UK at 17
For how many years?
for 4 years, but I did 3 years, took a break, and then went back for my final year.
Oh yeah, okay, I remember. So
Yeah.
okay,
Went
what
a
I was
bit
gonna ask was
cuckoo.
because it's
Yeah.
not. I don't think it's quite as bad in the UK, but it's still a lot worse, obviously, than here.
Mm.
But I was gonna ask, did you notice, having come from here,
Yeah.
a lot of that like over the top PC? Did you interact with a lot of that?
Growing up, wait, I'm not answering for you.
Yeah.
But it's
But I
one
am.
thing. No. It's
No.
one thing. It's similar. I'm not sure what you're gonna say.
Yeah.
But that's one thing that actually was shocking. Not that it was PC in the Western world,
Mm.
but that they were very careful
Yeah.
of what they said regarding skin color.
That is so true.
But again,
Like
but-
here, growing up, it's just like
no one cares. Yeah,
no
'cause
one
you
cares.
Grew up
Yeah.
with, like,
Multicultural.
everyone. Yeah.
Everyone knows that. Like
Yeah.
it's not bad. Like
some ways it's a
Yeah.
good thing. In
Yeah.
some ways, like it's just like there's no filter almost on a lot of
Yeah.
things. I
It's not
suppose,
even
but-
that. Here, like, people, when you meet people for the first time, you just go, "Oh yeah, what's your name?" Second question is usually, "Where are you from?"
Yeah.
In the UK, people will apologize when they ask me where I'm from.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
What
why
do you
is
mean?
States as well.
like sorry or like
yeah, sorry to ask, but where are you from? I'm
Yeah.
like, why would that be a bad thing where you ask where I'm from? I'd rather you ask me than go, "Oh, are you from here? Are you from here?" Like, or
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
at least you're asking me rather than saying this is where you're from.
Assuming.
Yeah. For sure.
I told Easter a story. Do you remember me telling you a story in LA when a friend of mine was asking where someone was from, and they were like outraged by it, and I was like, I grew up here. And it was
Oh,
It's a
like,
vaguely
natural
remember.
thing.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
here it's like, where are you from? And everyone's from everywhere else. So it's just
Exactly.
like, oh, I'm from here. My parents are
Yeah.
from this place and this place. But
Yeah.
in America, like, how dare you ask that?
Yeah.
It's like,
And they always say
second
like,
generation American.
not even. It's
They
like-
won't even say that.
Yeah.
no, but that's the thing. Like when someone asks that, I remember someone saying like, "Oh, why does it matter?" I'm like,
Yeah.
it doesn't. It's just like getting to know you. Why should it and shouldn't matter? Like, you know,
I
it doesn't
feel-
make you who you are. Yeah, but like that's me getting to know you.
Yeah.
I feel
Apparently it's
like-
a rude thing elsewhere. Almost.
Yeah,
Like,
which
they're
I
really
just
insulted
don't
by it.
understand. I
I
really
feel like
don't.
these are things that are definitely. I feel like these things, these issues, these progressive, humanistic, like discussions. There is, in my opinion, a definite right/wrong way of approaching things.
Yeah, for sure. That's like what I'm saying. Is the thing that I get annoyed with is when people are like, "Oh, are you American? You have an American twang," like constantly with me in the UK, and I hated that. And then people will apologize, and the ones who would apologize and ask me where I'm from, I'd be like, "No, you asking is a good thing instead of you just suddenly going,
Yeah,
boom,
yeah.
you are this because of how you sound."
Instead of
So-
just
so-
assuming. Yeah.
So the assumptions are what you might find offensive. And
Yeah.
you know what? I think I might jump on that. I think I might agree. I
Yeah.
think the
Like,
assumptions of
The thing is so when you ask someone where you're from, because we're from, like, we grew up here, for us it's just getting to know a person. But the issue when you ask someone where they're from, where it goes bad is when you create a stereotype in your head because of where they're from. That's where it
But
goes.
it becomes, sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt you,
No,
Ollie, but it
no.
becomes difficult. For example, like I was watching a Netflix show yesterday.
Yeah.
I can't remember the title. I think it was like Tales of the City or Tales from the City, whatever.
Oh yeah, the San Francisco one.
Yeah. And there was a scene where there was this girl with her boyfriend who's trans. I think the guy was a girl turned into a guy or whatever.
Oh yeah, the girl. So they used to be lesbians, and then she transitioned into he.
Yeah. And then so they were in a bakery shop, and another woman had
First
a kid.
episode.
Yeah, had a kid, and basically was like, "Oh, when are you guys gonna have kids?" So a few minutes later, they're walking down the street, and the woman turned to the female to male transsexual and was like,
Her now boyfriend.
and was like, "Can you believe that she asked us if we have kids? She thought we were straight, or she thought we were,
Yeah.
heterosexual, like a regular couple." And the other person didn't mind because I guess they were happy that they were passing as their
Yeah.
preferred identity. I don't know
Yeah.
what's the right term.
Yeah.
And then the straight girl, the biological, the cis female, right? That's the term, right? Cis. Was outraged on the behalf of her partner.
Yeah, and her partner was actually happy about it.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
like,
I think that's like the whole series I don't like because of I think more of how it's
oh no, that's
What
serious.
shot.
series is it?
It's not.
Tales is
Not worth watching.
No.
Nah, I don't think
Like
it's
the issues they bring up are good, but the way the show actually is, it's just a shit.
So,
it's
show.
over
Yeah.
dramatization.
so the funny thing, Issa said before, there's a right and a wrong way
I
of going
think-
about bringing up issues.
I'm sure
You might be right, but there's one thing that I thought of straight away when you said that was there should be a right and a wrong way. It used to be when people got offended, that was the wrong way of going about
Yeah.
asking questions. Which
But
makes
everyone's
sense.
getting
do you
offended
mean?
now, so who's doing the right
so
thing?
the way to bring up things is not like offended
know,
is not real offense anymore.
I
Like,
think
It's
I think what you're
not. That's what I was
saying is
saying
actually
earlier.
yeah. I
So
Just
think you're
people
both
just
right.
wanted to get offended for the sake of being
Yeah.
I
offended.
think they're not sensitive to their feelings actually of
Yeah.
what they
Yeah.
like or
Yeah,
dislike.
yeah.
That for them, they're avoiding the issue by just being offended. They don't actually ask themselves, why am I being offended?
Can I take it one step further?
Go.
Being offended for the sake of being offended is really annoying.
It is.
So
it's
annoying.
such an annoying.
It's an annoying.
stance.
It's
Yeah.
an annoying quality.
It's like
It's so
people
frustrating.
who, it's like those friends you have, like who, like, oh, you should have done this thing and known about it. Like,
Obviously, I didn't.
Shoulda,
Yeah.
woulda, coulda.
yeah.
No,
Like,
but see, that's
oh,
the
you
thing.
should have invited me
It's
to this
just-
place, even
yeah.
though it's somebody else's birthday that you don't know.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like, you're annoying for the sake of being
There's a
annoying.
lot. Yeah, there's a lot of expectations there, buddy.
This,
Um,
but this hopefully will blow over. I'm really holding out hope that this
Some-
new millennial overly
It's
PC
not a millennial
offense-
thing.
What is it?
Outrage. No, I mean the
Outrage is not.
I don't. Yeah, I think outrage has gone up now, or like has been more recognized now. But I think that's due to the internet. I don't
Really?
think. Yeah. I think that's like suddenly everyone has a social media account.
know what?
Yeah,
Then-
it's like the moms
but-
are in their 40s now.
Yeah.
Are they millennials?
But you know,
I think
I don't know.
early 40s can still
if,
count.
if that's why, then I would say it's a good thing. Blow it all out. The internet's a new thing. Get it all out of your system.
I think so.
Be outraged of it
That's
because
why-
there's so many different, like the internet.
That's why I think Trump is good.
Yeah, I'm not like, yeah, me too. Like, get it out of your system.
Get
Give
it
him
out
a
of our
bash.
system.
Who cares? Like, what? I was gonna say, what's the worst that could happen?
know,
but I'm not
it's-
even gonna say it.
Yeah, don't
It
say
could
that
be
because
really bad.
Yeah.
like for the first time today, I was watching something and they were saying, basically that one of Carl Jung's books, he really thinks that we have as we're entering the age of Aquarius, so to say, we are going from the past 2,000 years where the age of Christ, like where everything is good, where we're determining morals. And now we're entering the next 2,000 years where we're shifting really to the opposite of those morals. and like
Yeah.
we're getting so confused already. It's just the beginning, and it's already, it's literally 2020
For sure.
next
That's
year,
very true.
and everyone is really confused.
But really,
They like this the sense of wrong and right.
It's very.
It's
Blur.
gray. It's super
Yeah,
gray. It's
yeah.
like
but it will keep transitioning 100%.
Can
there
you
will
imagine?
be
But
the
that's-
more, and
yeah.
that transition will become shorter and shorter because, for me, the internet now, you have everybody who uses, like, the most extreme sides of the internet are really extreme.
Yeah.
But those ideas and people's opinions or whatever all now clash together, and at some point, like, things are gonna break and figure themselves out, whatever. But we, like you said, we've had
I hope.
thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of years of like slow progression of like figure things out, and people like talking to people and taking a long time to like get information elsewhere. And now we have this huge explosion of information in the past 20 years, and shit's getting crazy really quick. Like, this has to happen, of course. Like, what would the other option be? Were we going to have the internet have like 100 billion different ideas and different crazy directions?
This
And we'd be
is-
like, oh, this is normal. It's not normal. This is fucking weird. This is super strange.
Yeah.
It is. It's
But the thing that
unprecedented.
confuses me about this whole thing, right? There's still people who are so. Like, me and my friend were just talking about it, how, some people, like, their views, especially, like, in America with, like, the whole Trump thing, and they're saying how, like, these people shouldn't be here and all of this. But there's all this information out there, yet they're still so ignorant
Yeah,
about the world. I just don't see how can you be so ignorant
I agree.
about other humans?
There's-
I think when you're not marginalized, like when you become one of the people that the system caters for,
Yeah.
and that's why people are so against the patriarchy in general, right?
That's a really good point, because I was gonna say the two things that really get me a lot, and maybe it's hypocritical to say, one is that kind of person that you described, and like that kind of person you would imagine, and the second thing that really gets me is overly entitled people that are straight away like, oh, I should have this, and like,
Yeah, I don't understand that. I mean, we grew up. I would say we were spoiled. We're so spoiled.
So privileged.
Yeah, we're definitely, but we still know like that not everyone gets that.
Maybe it was mom actually.
I think it was.
who gave us a
For
very
sure.
strong sense of,
You have to work for
yeah,
what you get,
she's given us like me and your dad have given you a good life,
but this can go away
but
any
like
second.
you
She
need
did
to
remind of
yeah
that.
she
Yeah.
remind every
A
time
Yeah, yeah,
you need that, I think.
For sure.
from a young age.
It's such a like big
yeah.
catch net when people don't have that, and there's like you like do whatever you want, and you like deserve all this stuff,
And they'll do
You're
it till
born-
they're
Yeah.
35.
yeah, you're born
Yeah.
entitled.
I
to
know,
have all
literally
this
know
stuff.
people firsthand, secondhand now,
And
who are entering their 30s and are feeling so lost. They don't have a career yet, and it's like, yo, what are you?
Yeah,
No, I mean, not that you need it, not that you need a career, but I mean, they
Yeah,
don't
but-
have any sense of like
exactly.
independence, and not just
Exactly.
financial.
Yeah, for sure.
Is-
It's because like they're so protected. Like their whole life, their parents didn't want them to see anything
that's the
bad.
thing. Yeah,
You
It's
know,
like
they
that
always kept
catch
them
net.
in a bubble.
Yeah.
And
But
then
I don't think it's fair to just blame the parents. I feel like
no, you can still go out and like try and experience things, but some people are just fine.
yeah,
being-
that's
the
literally what
sad
Arrested
thing.
Development means. I think.
yeah, for sure.
By the way,
that's why it's such a good show.
I did say this, but Issa is one of these people with technology specifically. He's so entitled to have so much great. Like, he's like kind of an asshole with how much he demands of technology so fast. Like, whenever we talk about it, he's like, no, we should have this already. Like, who are you expecting to make this like crazy shit? Like, oh, I should have a
Self-driving
a
car 4 years
self-driving-
ago.
Yeah. In like 2000, he wanted like a helicopter to pick him up from the house and fly him somewhere. Like,
I mean, there
he-
is Uber helicopter here,
Yeah.
so
But he's like, oh yeah, I shouldn't have to go to work. I should be able to be a hologram by now. Like, who are you expecting to do this? Like, you're a person. You could be doing this stuff. And he's like, no, people
trust
should
me,
be
I am
getting
doing
this
this
done.
stuff.
for me
someone should do
already.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. We're really not making much of an impact of that. Like, we're designing shit every once in a while.
I'm banking on the hope that one day they're gonna improve programming language that it becomes verbal, like some Iron Man type shit.
I'll go on.
You know what I
wanna
mean?
hear
Like
this
you
out.
see Iron Man when he's designing or when he's
Yeah.
trying
Oh, I
something.
know
But
what you
there's
mean,
one
okay.
thing I noticed like that I feel like I
That's what I
wish I
mean.
was kind of born now, is how with kids nowadays from like kindergarten and everything, there's a lot of schools that are starting to teach kids like programming. There are these like I just saw it today where they're using like sewing and stuff to learn how to build electronics.
Amazing.
Jeez, that's crazy.
Yeah, and
I didn't
kids,
know that.
kids like are starting to learn
it up
programming from
easy.
like first grade. Like in school, they have it.
That's
you know how
amazing.
we were like they taught us like Excel and stuff in
Yeah.
school, middle
Build
school
your own
and shit.
computer now.
Yeah, now it's no, but it's not even just that. It's like
Basic.
programming
It's
and
literally called
everything.
basic,
Yeah.
probably.
Exactly.
Or C++ or whatever
cool.
shit.
Yeah.
I
There's
don't know.
so many like games and like toys and everything that they from like even as a toddler they starting to like teach them how to do, which I think is really cool because it makes you more independent. Like you're saying, like he's saying, oh, we should have this by
Yeah.
now. You're like,
Make it
oh, make it then.
Yeah.
By teaching kids to do this from a young
They
age,
can make their
then
own
they-
apps.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. And like, it's funny that you said that straight after the last comment that Issa made. His last comment was that he wants to basically have an Iron Man, like a room with a glass table where a hologram pops up and says, Issa, what do you want me to program in? This Siri basically super, super advanced. You want
AI.
Siri 46.
Can I tell the story about how you were my AI for this
Yeah,
podcast?
yeah. But I know where you got it from because you're one of the I won't say one of the few people. You're the only person that has this whole apartment hooked up with Google where you can change the color of the lights. You walk in
Yeah.
there, and he loved it at the start. He
I'm not
loved to
gonna
be
lie
that
though,
futuristic.
because now that I live with him, I gotten so used to that crap that I remember once.
I go to hotels and I say, okay,
Oh
Google,
my God.
and it doesn't do anything, and I'm
It's
so
insane.
disappointed.
I've
You
been
got-
to barbecues here where I've gone,
You guys
hey
are
Google,
so
play the next song. And I'm like, oh wait, I'm not even
I
at
can't do
home. Oh
that.
my God.
It's madness. You guys are
I
both
ca-
so entitled
Wait,
technologically.
I'll go a step further, right? I came home drunk once. This was before we started working together. And
You know how hypocritical we are, by the way, having said this about entitled people.
Yeah.
We are those
yeah,
people.
no, for sure. But
Okay.
at least we know
As
it.
long as
At
you know.
least we
Okay,
know.
go on.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so I came home like really drunk from like a ladies' night, and Issa was coming home late from work, and we ended up coming to the apartment at the same time.
I love that those paths cross, by the way. Like, you were out partying all night. Issa was coming back
Hmm.
from work, walking the door at the same time.
Well, now I'm a working woman,
it's like a
and I
TV
understand.
show. Ah, yeah.
But yeah, so we got into the house, and I ended up like trying to sit on the couch, and I couldn't sit. I just kept slipping off, and then I went. I don't call Google because it never responds to me when I call it Google, so I have to call it Goo, and
Oh,
it
yeah, I
understands me
remember
more.
this. Yeah.
So I actually went, "Hey Google, make me puke."
Oh, dear.
I don't.
And
Re- I don't know if this happened, to be honest with you, for sure, because Issa told me this happened.
I wouldn't believe it too
So
much.
basically, she was not in a sober state at all.
No, I can tell.
and
because-
she was walking in, and she didn't even see me.
Yeah, I was
like-
trying to find my keys, and then
I
he
opened
comes
the
and
door
opens
for
the
her,
door.
and she just goes in and sits, and then she was like, "Okay, Google, make me puke."
Oh, dear.
I was like, "Oh,
Probably joking, though.
oh, look, Google on my phone
Hopefully.
responded."
But it's...
No,
yeah.
I woke up the
I-
next day like, what the hell? I'm like, okay, I'm in my bed. I'm alive. Okay, my phone's here, my bag's here, my wallet's here. I'm good. All right.
Okay, I have another point in this. This is actually really good that you brought this up because the other day Issa was saying he doesn't think technology, and I believe this. He's like, oh, it's not actually growing that much. We're not getting that much.
We're a
more
bit
crazy stuff."
stagnated at the moment. A bit.
That's the
Computer
thing.
graphics are
No.
insane, and CPUs are
haven't.
insane.
Have you seen the
We're
robots
getting
and shit that
so
they're making now?
crazy. And that's the thing. You walk into your apartment now, you're like, okay, Google, turn the lights down to 20%.
But I should be able
set
to
ambient
change
lighting.
all my wallpaper.
Why should? This is your thing.
should.
Why
No,
should?
no. The difference is you can have all of that. You just have to have the money to pay for all of that.
And
That's
you-
the thing.
you
Because
always
that all
fixate-
exists. You can get
fixate
that.
on the gimmicky side of stuff. The stuff that's actually.
What did you say?
actually-
What did you say?
You fixate a lot on the gimmicky.
But the gimmicky
side.
stuff is the thing that makes you feel alive.
it's like the stuff that's actually into like put into reality now, that you can buy light bulbs that link up with Google, that you can change the ambient lighting, is insane, mind-blowingly crazy.
Boring.
This
And you
is
can
the
label
thing.
them like which room it is.
Yeah.
I want
Isa's room
projected
to blue.
walls. I want to be able to change the like. I could.
We have a projected wall.
Guess what?
All the
I have a good point on this. Make it. You
Yeah.
should have been born now and learned to program.
No, but
Imagine.
those like a lot of what he's kind of saying, it does. It's just
Yeah, no.
expensive.
Yeah.
It's just
Really
really
expensive
yeah.
and not practical at all.
Someone
you don't
has-
actually want those things. You're entitled technologically. You
I
want
mean, like,
you don't want that.
This
What are
is-
you going to play on your wall?
Actually, I can help you out. I'll
Go on.
back you up with that,
Go on.
Ollie. When's the last time you used your VR headset?
I unpacked everything.
Thank you.
recently. I unpacked.
How often do you use it
And
now?
we brought this up. How crazy was that shit when we first started using it?
Amazing.
No, and
No,
now
it's-
he wants a hologram of that. You want to live in the VR. You don't want to put the goggles
Yeah.
on.
No.
Actually,
So I'll tell you. So
Oh,
for
it's
example,
like first episode of
he
the
used
new
to com-
season of Black Mirror.
yeah.
so what's happened for me is like I like technology. Obviously, I use
Massive
it.
nerd since a kid. Yes.
I use it and then I have an idea of how it works and I read about it, la la la. So I used VR for a while. I enjoyed it, but now I'm waiting for the like third, fourth generations of it. You know?
Yeah, but what you should be happier with what we have now, because the shit we have now is insane.
This
We're
is- but
so
but this is
we're
this,
so caught up
this
in
is-
it.
this
we
is where-
can't take a step back and realize how
No,
fucking crazy
definitely.
it is.
But that's where it becomes that integrative, like it becomes that feeling of like, yeah, okay, but next.
No,
How about? I
it's-
think there should be a middle ground of with what both of you are saying. Okay,
Go
like
on. Because yeah,
what you're saying of like you're just telling him to be happy with that, for sure.
not just
But it's a good thing that he wants to push
No,
it
no, yeah,
further,
I
because
agree.
then
I
like,
agree.
how do we
Not-
grow as like?
not
otherwise they'll
Yeah.
try to sell us throttled phones half the speed for like the next 5 years still.
okay.
'Cause they
I'm,
want-
They kind of.
I'm with you.
They're already doing that. That's my point.
Exactly.
I'm with you. I'm with both of you. I completely agree. But the only thing I'll say is, you push to have more stuff for sure.
Not more, not have more.
Not have more, but like
things
the
to
things
develop.
that work better.
Yeah.
Development. Push for development.
Yeah.
Mm.
But at the same time, as pushing and because I agree, like it would be cool to have, like the 5G thing you were talking about. That would be badass for sure. But at the same time, I'm like, I remember we were talking about it before, using my dad's communicator, thinking, opening it up, and like it takes literally, it was like 5 to 10 minutes just to load Google and thinking, this is sick. Like we're in the car and I can see Google on the phone. And I remember now still thinking, like I remember back then thinking, this is crazy. Like we're on the internet in the car. And you have to think a little bit at the same time, like if your phone lags now, you'd be like, what the this is ridiculous. It's like calls on. What the hell's going on?
Yeah, like
But we
it's time
have
for a
to-
new phone now.
Yeah, exactly. This thing's so slow. But we
Yeah.
have to like at the same time appreciate like this
That's,
is mad.
a
This is
mainframe.
really
Yeah,
insane.
It is insane. No,
Like
for
the
sure.
other thing, the thing we were talking about, the internet calling. What did you call it at the time?
Voice over IP.
Voice over IP.
Nani desu ka?
Skype.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and it's like now for me that would be the next, like instead of calling, it would just be like people calling each other from voice over IP, linking other people in. You'll see it's already happening.
Yeah,
Actually.
FaceTime.
It's
The face-
no,
that's-
even
Yeah.
like
But
Snapchat.
I mean,
And you'll
let's
send
not
things
get
to
it all
people, and
blocked.
yeah, doesn't help us much. But
Eh.
it's like all of the things are so. We wouldn't have even envisioned them happening 10, 15 years ago.
I mean, some sci-fi writers, right? They project all of these ideas.
For me, they project things in a different direction. Something like
Yeah.
they do like jetpacks, and we're like, we're crazy with the jetpacks. We're past jetpacks.
Yeah.
We're like talking in like seamlessly all the time. We're getting information instantaneously, like in
I-
0.2 seconds.
I literally think that's why all of the humanity subjects that people always make fun of are literally going to be some of the saving graces of like the future, because engineers are important,
For sure.
scientists are very important, doctors are very important, lawyers, all of the real hardcore big careers that everyone wants their kids to have are important. But after a certain point, you're going to need something to fill your life with. if that makes any sense.
Mm-mm.
Like, can you like imagine a world where you're only a lawyer?
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
You know,
Yeah, because there's no like progression, is what you're trying to say.
balance. First of
Yeah.
all, balance is one thing, but like, it's like, maybe it's because it's my sensibility, but I can imagine in a world where I only paint or I only read or I only make music, doesn't sound like a bad world. But a world where I'm only operating on bodies, or a world where I'm only interpreting the law, or a world where I'm only building, what do I computer engineer, or where I'm making Facebook's latest update. A world where I'm only doing that. That sounds like not
Yeah,
the
but it's like-
nicest world.
That's becoming monotonous. That like
Yeah.
anyone doing the same thing over and over, and you're gonna get bored of it, no matter what it is.
Yeah, no, for sure. But am I naive in thinking like painting? I'm not saying one is better. I'm just saying one is more generative, if that makes any sense. More life affirming. More.
Yeah,
For
it's,
you though.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe it's
Yeah.
just for
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
But
yeah.
but am I?
Yeah, I think so.
I get what you're saying
Yeah.
though, but I think
think-
the main reason why you probably think that is for the fact that with those other careers, there's always a definite like, you know, there's a main thing to go to, but like when it comes to the world of arts, there's no
It's
final
broad.
answer.
Yeah.
It's
This
you
is,
know,
for example, like when I was saying, like I'm just piggybacking what you said, Sarah, where always saying all you want, like I'm being, what's the word, expectant of technology, or I
Yeah.
am privileged in my expectancy of technology.
Yeah.
That I want, for example, like a room that the walls just change via projectors how it looks.
yeah.
But who's gonna program how it looks? You know, AI.
Okay, I have 2 points to this, like directly related to this. The first thing that you said, I think I used to think what you said, and I thought like I couldn't put myself in the shoes of other people that would, and now I changed my view on it. I think some people, like for example, a doctor, their full life fulfillment of saving
Is
people,
saving
helping
lives.
people, could fulfill them, and then them live a very, like hypothetically, a very, very basic lifestyle, very minimalist, and their thing is to be a doctor. They could be, I
Yeah.
think, 100% happy.
Now that
doing
you say it, the fact that you're saying it, I can see it.
But
yeah.
I think, like, and I used to think, no, they would want to do what I
More.
want to do, but I don't. Or like, not more. Like, why wouldn't they want to do the things that I enjoy doing? But I think
Yeah.
people are really individual, and they like.
For sure.
Some people could live very, very basic, and the fulfillment of saving people would be their thing. I think.
Yeah, everyone has to just find what they love, but
What
then
sparks joy.
yeah, what sparks joy. But even if there is something you love, that can't just be the only thing you do, because you don't
Yeah,
end up.
I agree with that.
You need to have something crappy basically in order to enjoy something good, because you won't have, you know, there needs to be something bad with the good, otherwise you won't ever be thankful for the good.
They might just enjoy that level though as well. Like they might be fulfilled as like waking up every day. They have challenges at work, or like challenges in saving people. They save somebody's life, and it's like a huge accomplishment. And that every day, maybe
I
maybe
mean,
that could fulfill
if-
people.
I don't know. Then midlife crisis wouldn't like exist if that's the case.
Yeah,
You know?
but for some people,
Yeah.
Like,
No,
I think
because
everyone-
once
everyone-
it's
I think it happens to
once you go
everyone.
into a plateau, no matter how much you love something, once you've like kind of been doing only that for a
like a
while,
lack of excitement.
yeah, you don't, you know, it's like learning the thing you love most for the first time ever and realizing how much fun it is. After you've done it for so long, you forget actually how happy it makes you feel, that you have to walk away from it and then realize actually how thankful you are to like find that.
Yeah. You brought something up, Issa, that was quite interesting as well, which was, I don't know if it was your point actually, but
You're
I
confusing
thought
the
about
Sabahs.
yeah. I don't actually know if it was no. I don't know if this is what he meant. I mean, is anyway, the thing I thought of straight away was with technology, with a lot of things as well, is you were saying that some people, like, you need more than just doing a basic thing that people used to do or whatever. You need programmers or
Oh, when you're
whatever,
talking
right?
about like who's gonna actually create those visuals.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
let's say
So-
let's say like who's gonna populate
Yeah.
these things? Who's
Okay,
gonna
so The thing I was
Who's
thinking,
who's gonna
when
make
you-
them human?
So the thing I thought when you said that was, now a lot of another thing we take for granted almost was that the technology that we use day to day helps us in a lot of ways, and I think like
Yeah,
especially like
convenience.
even the thing you brought up with like doctors, they have so many assisted like aids with them now that help them do operations stuff.
100%.
In the future, like hopefully with the progression of that kind of specific thing, they will be able to operate on people. You see like the videos on Facebook,
Remote
whatever now, like,
operation,
yeah.
Yeah,
And
That's
has
5G
happened.
enabled. It is.
But
It's
we
crazy
take like
how that
how much
actually happens.
how much of those day to day things that like, I mean that is a big thing that would help us immensely. But like even stupid stuff like food delivery and all those other things that we take for granted, all of those things are like massive.
I guess, yeah. I mean, that just
it
literally
really-
the last 2 minutes alone of what you just said made me want to retract what I said. There is a place for every kind of discipline in the future.
Yeah,
It's a required. It's a required. You
You
can't.
still
of,
need
but-
humans, no matter how good.
I don't know. Like with
What did you say,
I-
sorry?
I said you still need people, no matter how good those robots get with like surgery and all. You still need a human to actually.
Influence it or give it
Yeah.
ideas. Yeah.
but I think is like the thing I do think is that it's gonna definitely, like you see like truck drivers in 20 years are gonna be
That's
out
what
of
they're
jobs and
saying.
stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that it's going to change a lot of things, like that kind of thing. Robot operated things being able to do surgeries in 10 minutes, for example, like they could cut somebody open, fix something like in a fraction of a time.
I think
Jobs
humans
will
I
across
think
the board be.
I just got this feeling or this intuition that that once we reach the machine singularity or close to it, when we have our minds uploaded, that most of the fun will be when people start mixing their brains, like mind melding. That's where it's gonna be. And so you're gonna want to find someone who's so different to you, just to be like.
You mean when you can upload your exact mind onto?
Well, not even upload, just like
be able to
like you
imagine what other
remember
people
you
do.
had Game Boys and you can link the two Game
Yeah,
Boys
yeah.
using a cable.
mentally do that.
Yeah, but like mentally doing that would be fun. Just to be like, how do you see the world? You know, literally.
This is the kind of thing you want now, right?
Yeah.
You want that in
Yeah.
2 years. That's yeah.
I think that's
Okay,
that's stuff that's stuff that will make you want to seek out other
I
humans.
might
Yeah.
eat my words because I know what you're saying.
I
Like
think
you want to
it'll
find
happen.
weird
I think
stuff.
what you seem to forget though is like all of that would be so cool, but there's a lot of things that need fixing first before going into all of that. Because imagine the amount of money to go into all of that kind of
that was my
research in
first
order to
thought,
do.
but I then thought about it as for
You
like a
connect
second
two
after.
geniuses though. They might be able to solve the problem quicker.
Not that I think it's not like
who
a
knows
quick
who you're
fix.
missing out on, because like there are people who just they don't have enough, like kind of in the other podcast with Sad, or he was saying how you know, there may be a genius somewhere at one end of the world, but they're just not lucky enough to like be able
Yeah.
to live the way we do and be able to actually get an education and just not think of surviving but actually living life.
Yeah, we really should have solved
Those kind of
we
issues
should-
we
That's
should
what
have been.
we should
long
have solved
gone
poverty
by now.
by now and
Exactly.
hunger and
Yeah.
but
There's a lot of like diseases in certain places in the world which is so easy to eradicate,
yeah.
but people choose to just like not deal with it, and the amount of like waste we have here
This-
is crazy.
These are the kind of things that people will say we're being like overly, you know, like overly
enthusiastic or
not, yeah, like we're not being genuine about. But I genuinely think that's like a bullshit issue to have. It's bullshit that people are starving now in 2019. It's ridiculous.
it is.
Like, and how many like famous celebrities and stuff have started a charity like.
But it makes you.
Yeah, that's why I just don't
but
understand,
those
like,
charities, like I think it's.
So
Besides some of them,
corruptness as
they're not.
It's a bit of a front. for,
Yeah,
like,
I think
like-
so. Tax
for an
evasion.
image
and so
or-
That's what I'm
on.
saying.
Yeah, but like
It's
it
sad.
shouldn't be as difficult as women. Like the US, this is again like for political, is going off in a different direction. But like the US military
Complex.
budget, no, the US
crazy.
military budget
Yeah.
per year
Yeah.
is absolutely insane. Like you
It's
would,
a joke.
you would,
It's a
you
complete
would
joke.
solve poverty
In the
like
whole of
in
America.
no time. Not in America, worldwide, with 1 year of budget from the US military. Easily, without even, you would have so much money left over. Everybody in the world could eat, not go hungry.
Yeah.
100%. And that's not the option that we take as humans. Like, we're kind of fucked.
Or the Americans don't take. Isn't it?
No, but we like,
because
as
there's
humanity,
so
we're
many
all in it
cities
together.
in America that don't even have clean
Yeah.
drinking
Their
water
own
and
people.
everything.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the saddest thing about it. It's their own people. So many of them are suffering, and because it's just not the demographic they care to look at, they just ignore it and put more money into the army and kill more people. And
Okay,
so I hate politics.
in
That's not-
2018, the US military budget was $686 billion.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Could you not fix world hunger with $686 billion?
That was 1 year?
100%. That was 2018.
Exactly.
100%. No question.
a
You could
joke.
solve people being hungry for that money. And that's a backup for in case you go to war, right? Like, basically.
Yeah.
What if all countries, I mean, it's ridiculous notion, obviously.
I know.
Of course. But if all countries like, hey, we're not going to fuck with each other anymore. Everyone's cool. We got this. Nobody fight each other. Let's stop people dying by not being able to eat. Would that not be a good way to go? Would you not be like, okay, fuck,
Of course,
let's take
no
that
one's
option?
going to deny that.
Yeah, but why do we not do that? Why is
I,
it?
Because
I,
there's
I,
so
I- we
many-
need to get someone on the podcast who will say I deny that, and like I,
Yeah, no, I don't mind.
I
I'd love
say
that.
no. I want to hear them.
I do want to hear their thoughts because
I can't. I don't.
I want to question them more than
That's gonna be
anything
my
else.
brother. he's coming on soon. He's gonna.
That'd
he's
be
gonna be
awesome.
the.
I still
asshole.
can't believe I've never met your brother.
Really?
I didn't even know you had a brother until last year.
No way.
Remember when you were at my house and then you said, I'm like, oh.
Oh yeah, no, I
yeah,
remember actually.
yeah,
Come by in a few days. He's coming over to an episode. Hopefully, he disagrees with us on some stuff. I just I can't. Stuff
Wait, is
like
he
that,
older or younger? I forgot.
Older.
Older.
2 years older. He has to like. He's very logical about stuff. He'll probably shut us down with a lot of our
What does he
outrageous
do?
ideas.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
I would love it.
I'm so
I'd
excited.
love him to prove us wrong on things.
I'm
at the
so
same
excited.
Time.
No, I love. See, that's the thing. I found out.
I'm intrigued actually as to what your brother would be like.
No, I think on stuff like this is like, I don't know. This he's more okay. I'll explain that kind of thing I was just talking about, where it's like all three of us, I think, straight away would be like, yeah, stop making stupid shit and help people that
Yeah.
need it
Help people.
more than you need to go to war. He would be like, oh no, but the reason they need it is, and then actually be like, he would just get into like a long conversation about why it's not possible to do that.
Oh my god, there's a million reasons why it's not possible. Even
yeah,
though
but then we should
Screw
go.
it.
Yeah, fuck those reasons.
Fuck the reasons.
exactly
Help people.
for sure.
100% help people.
Like it's hypocritical for us to say because we have money that we don't give to charity, but
I
we're not
give.
using it to
I give.
build
give
shit.
when I can.
No, yeah, but not all of the money you have. You have
Yeah,
money
yeah,
for
yeah,
yourself.
Yeah.
You don't haven't given all of your money to
Yeah,
away.
but because that's
But-
just stupid. Because
know,
then
of
you
course,
end
but-
up being.
No, of course, but it's not really like you're not using the money to build guns to sell to people to
Exactly.
kill people, whatever. Like
literally fueling wars.
yeah, but it's like, is that not? I mean, US is obviously an extreme example, but it's almost 2/3 of $1 trillion.
It's weird when you're a nation that's proud of gun ownership and
I mean, I love guns. Guns are fun, but they take it to a whole new level.
yeah,
like,
it's fanaticism.
It's
Like
it's
I don't
very
know.
astro.
It's yeah. I mean, like you said, I don't like. I think guns as a weapon and everything. Yeah, I agree with you. I think I like
Oh, not even as a weapon. I find them fun as like
objects.
going to a shooting range and stuff.
Yeah.
It's very therapeutic.
Yeah, I have,
Okay, I've done a quick Google. Issa, I know you hate this.
No.
I know how much you hate this. I'll stop doing this so much, but it's really interesting.
Get an
The
intern.
US, we need to.
Yeah.
We'll next episode we'll have an intern to help us look at this kind of stuff. But I love
Train the
figuring
kitty.
shit like this out. This should be fucking mind blowing for you. The US military budget per year, well, in 2018, was $686 billion. They estimate to solve world poverty to solve poverty. So obviously people can eat and get by and not die from starvation.
Yeah, and actually
Solving world
live.
poverty would be $175 billion a year for 20 years.
Sorry, how much again?
$175 billion.
And they spend 600.
They spend 686 per year on the military.
So 2
How?
years of their
How does it-
budget would be good for the world for 20 years.
Yeah, they could do it in 2 years from not having a military.
Exactly.
basically.
More than 2 years. You
Yeah. How
many?
guys maths.
Oh right, yeah,
A bit more.
not much more.
Oh,
Yeah, 5.
But okay, let's not go to that.
No,
extreme
but
end,
still, the point still
not even
stands.
5, I
The
don't think.
point
But
still
anyway,
stands.
let's not go in that
And
direction.
plus,
then.
just
Let's
imagine
say,
the world without an American military. Even just that
probably
alone
have-
would be.
Maybe
But-
that's literally what they're thinking. They're like, we would like to keep people.
yeah, but okay, let's not say they spend 868 million. Let's say those numbers are right. They can prove it. It's the first thing I looked up. That's like spitballing. Okay, say that's actually accurate. You could still have a ridiculous military. Just spend 500 billion and solve world poverty. Like, wouldn't you want to be, instead of being known as a nation?
I can already see like what they'll say. Oh, but then you're not gonna pay the military men for 1 year. They'll lose their jobs. There's a whole system of people being supported. You can see the excuses, but
I know.
like
But wouldn't you rather be known to be a nation for
Maybe
literally
it's better to-
saving the world instead of that?
it's better to jump to the like negative end. I think for debates and to see who would benefit from not solving world hunger.
But you know how many like
Yeah, I know what you
ex-military in the U.S. have so many different like psychological issues,
Yeah,
physical,
veterans.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
everything. Like in the Vietnam War, like more people have killed themselves after the war, like from the military, than those who actually died
That's
in the
insane.
war.
Yeah, it's
Because
crazy.
they didn't get any support.
worst-
And everyone ignored them and threw them
When
to
they
the
came back,
side.
yeah.
The crazy one for me as well is you see some wars which, like, I think, I don't know if, like how much we can go into this, but I think it was Afghanistan, right, where they're like, oh, they have weapons of mass destruction in this place. Oh no, it's in this place. Oh, it's in Iraq. One of the two. Oh no, it's in this place. Oh no, it's in that place. Oh no, it's in this place. And it was just a goose chase. And they're like, oh no, actually they don't have it. If you're going there, risking your life, and like, I don't know,
Killing
maybe I will
civilians
get like,
as well by blowing
yeah,
up
but if you
areas.
like, imagine you go there risking your own life, thinking I'm doing this for a good cause, and then it's common knowledge like that none of the things that they were saying that they were going
Were
for was
true.
real.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you be like, hey, what the fuck? Like, I came to try to help you.
That's
like-
the issue. That's why recently, I forgot what that holiday is in America to celebrate the
Memorial Day.
Memorial, that one. I forgot there was like a tweet and everything, and then it kind of backfired because like so many ex-military are like saying how it basically ruined their lives, because a lot of them, the reason why why the military, they have so many
Education.
recruits, is because
Oh,
of
really?
education.
I
They
thought you
can
were going to
get
say
free-
community there.
No,
but yeah.
no, like a lot of them do it so they can
Have a better life.
Yeah,
yeah.
And instead, like they have to do all this stuff, go into these wars they don't actually even really believe
Yeah.
in, because they're trying to make their
And
lives better.
I guess at
And
some
then
point
it-
you're in the deep end, right? You're like, you're into it, you're in
Yeah.
it, you're in the deep end with it, and you're like, fuck, this is it, kind of thing. Even if they're not completely on board with it.
Yeah,
It's a crazy situation.
it's
And I don't think there's many countries like that where it's that like extreme. I don't think,
Yeah.
but yeah.
It's I don't know.
Issa just at some point Issa just gives up when I go too crazy this direction. He's just like, I don't know, just like let's not go into it.
No, it's not that. It's more like it's almost it's
Too extreme that like
no,
you
it's
can't
the
do
very
anything.
it's the very definition of philosophy at that point, you know? It's like excuse
Bless
me.
you.
bless you.
It's like how do you can have a stance, you can have an idea, and you can even come up with some like harebrained, like we should do this or we can do that.
Mm. But unless you're
But-
putting into practice.
No, but it's like such a big system now. It's not like
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
it becomes one of those things where, like, you know, you were saying discussion is good.
That's
is
exactly
good.
it. Like if there's enough people even talking about it, even pushing in a certain direction, you don't even need to do much. Like as long as enough people talk about things in a certain
But
direction.
I think that's what I'm
it
trying to
does a
say. I
lot.
think with this topic, for example,
It's
specifically,
too much.
no, I mean, it's like it feels like talking's not going to get you anywhere.
I think long term it does. Like long term things have to have an effect. Short term, like you're like with elections or whatever, people like talking about things in a certain way, and it's like, oh, this has to make it like enough of a difference or whatever. And it's so short term that even if things are rigged and they get screwed over in some way, it's just it's the period of 2 months and it's forgotten about and next thing. But big change long term, big like shifts in conversation about certain things have to take effect over a long period of time, I think.
You almost
the same thing with everything. Like
it almost makes you appreciate the way the US was formed, or like the Constitution at the very least, of like freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, and so on. It's like they have these things in their system that allows them to govern themselves better.
I like that we go to that as like a go-to, but we have really no relation to the US. It's no different to us than Russia or China. We never go into like Chinese politics, but I don't know. It's just like there's such a superpower.
You're more aware of it. Yeah,
Very true. Very true.
It has such an impact globally that you're like, you know what's going on with it, but you never hear the equivalent of Trump in China as much. Well, rarely.
Or like, no, to go on your point though, it's like you don't.
No, like the equivalent of Trump, China's Trump or whatever.
Winnie
as
the Pooh?
much.
Their news doesn't feel as world news as US's news.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna have to wrap up.
Good.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Sarah.
Taking a precious time.
I know. I need my beauty sleep.
On a school day.
On a school
You
day.
were the one on a school night as well. You were the most critical person of our podcast, right? Issa was saying you were the one that hated it most.
What? I
No,
never
I'm
said I
kidding.
hated it.
No, I didn't say that.
No, he actually didn't. But when I said that, I reminded myself of something. He did say the other day, like, sorry, I had this comment, and then didn't say it. Never mind. I was like, I'd rather not know. Let's just carry on.
Oh God, what did I say? Sometimes I don't know why I say. My mouth just moves.
If Issa didn't say it, it must have been really bad.
Oh, what
You've
did I
redeemed
say?
yourself by coming on to do one.
No, you said we should.
Oh, the trigger warnings though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, that wasn't serious though. That was
Oh,
like just
right,
like
okay.
as a joke.
Yeah, I know that.
Ironically, we've had way more trigger warnings
know.
than anything else. We've like gravitated towards trigger warnings.
Yeah, we
today.
like went full like
Yeah.
speed ahead with
That's
it.
funny. Thanks for that. You pushed us in
Thank
this
you.
direction.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
always do.
Come back soon.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Bye bye.